Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Casper the Boy Diviner and welcome to my May recap. So really nothing much happened in May, I would say. At least in this sphere of the world, Singapore has gone back to a semi-lockdown mode, which is kind of bumming me out to some extent, but it is what it is. And as for tarot-wise, I wasn't really able to catch up too much on all the news and what's happening. I haven't even been able to watch some of my favorite tarot tubers just because, I don't know, I just feel like it's been a transitionary period of my life where I feel much less inclined or motivated to do basically anything. I don't feel really motivated anywhere, including this channel. So what I do is, because I have so many new decks, I just do the overhead camera and I don't feel like I have much value to give in that sense. And I can see that in my analytics, things have been going down, which is fine. I expected it. It's just trying to find the fire again, the passion again. I was working on another YouTube channel. I was working on a lot of other things, but then right now I just am not. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Maybe it's really just asking me to take a break. But I feel like if I take a break, I'll take a break forever. Like I don't know. It just scares me that way. But so that's a live catch up. Let's talk about some tarot stuff now. Apart from live, let's move on from live. There are 3 decks I want to talk about, and these 3 decks are indie decks that are gonna become mass market, and they're decks that I was interested in previously or maybe still interested in. The first one I wanted to talk about is the Curious Travels Tarot deck, and this is a recent Kickstarter campaign that I backed before I even got the deck. And of course, she's working on it. It's gonna come out this year. She has also accepted a publisher deal to have it made mass market. And every time when things like this happen, I feel kind of conflicted. I feel glad that I supported her. I'm glad that I made the initial campaign a success. At the same time, the exclusivity that I kind of hoped to have with the deck kind of just faded away. I know that the mass market will take some time to come out, but because I have so many decks around me, I feel like, I don't know. I just don't know how I feel. I feel glad for her that she got a great deal. I just feel like maybe part of me feels like maybe I should have just waited and gotten the mass market instead. And that's purely like financial wise. It kind of makes more sense in my life right now. But I also know it's really hard to predict things like that. And I don't want to blame her at all for taking up a deal because it is a great deal, especially for her own financial situation. I just want to let you know so that you don't have to buy the indie deck version. The mass market will be coming out, and if you do prefer an indie version, which probably has more care and concern put into each deck, and supporting the artist and possibly better cardstock, because when I see decks go to mass market, usually the cardstock takes a hit. But again, it really depends on what type of cardstock you like. So, you know, take a look, think about it, just letting you know before you make any purchases that this deck is coming out mass market. So that's the first one. The second one that I was interested in and I was waiting for drops to happen is the Fyodor Pavlov Tarot deck. And knowing that this is coming out mass market possibly next year or in the next 2 years, I am not gonna get the indie deck. Cardstock is important to me, but I feel like a lot of indie creators now think of thick cardstock as good cardstock, so they go for like 350 GSM, things like that. No. That's not for me. I prefer thinner cardstock with a better core so that it bounces back into shape and doesn't have so much of a bow. And having a thicker cardstock means it's really hard to riffle shuffle, which I don't enjoy. I'm not saying that Fyodor Pavlov's tarot deck is like that. I'm just saying that in terms of money, in terms of financial savings, in terms of the cardstock premium, I would rather just wait for the mass market to come out, and I appreciate him letting us know. And I believe he has also sent out the deck to his Kickstarter backers already. So there's still a exclusivity kind of feeling that you're gonna have it for a year or so before the mass market comes out. And of course, as a person who didn't back the campaign and who was really tempted to, I'm just glad I didn't back it because now I get to have it in a cheaper form, a possibly improved version. My only concern for the mass market deck is that I don't know how the publisher would censor some of the images. I'm not sure if they will, because it's quite explicit. Some things like the trans representation in the lover's card might be problematic for the publisher. I don't know how the publisher is gonna handle this, and if they're gonna censor it, it's gonna be really sad, and that would make me wish I backed the indie version or bought the indie version when he's dropping it off, you know, because he's doing it in drops. So if you're interested in the indie version, look up for his Instagram. He writes the dates where he's releasing each drop. because he can't handle so many orders at one time, then you can order the indie deck, especially if you're afraid that the publisher will censor things. I'm not saying that the publisher will. There's a possibility they won't, and then that's good because you can just get the mass market, but who knows? Who knows? As for me, I made a decision. I'm waiting for the mass market to come out, and I will not be buying the indie version. And the third deck that I heard is coming out mass market is the Lumina Tarot. This is a tarot that I was intrigued by, but really decided it's not my style. So I definitely will not be getting the indie version. But if it was at an affordable mass market version, I possibly will get it. At the same time, we all know that mass market decks are all going up in price. So some mass market decks are maybe $15 and then some are like 30 or 40. So if it's 30 or 40, I probably wouldn't be getting it. But if it's at a cheaper price point, I probably would maybe give it a go. Just letting you guys know in case you like the Lumina Tarot as well. I believe this tarot is actually created in Australia. Correct me if I'm wrong, I might be totally wrong. And that's why shipping from Australia is really expensive. When it comes out mass market, it's possible that the shipping fees will be lowered, and this will give you a better incentive in getting the mass market version. And then that's it for this category of decks that are going mass market. Let's move on to only one deck that has gone on my wish list. I don't know if you watched my previous recap in April, and I was talking about I was getting too many decks and I feel overwhelmed, and that's why I don't feel like I want to buy any more decks. But guess what? This deck caught my eye, and I can't help but keep thinking about it. So I probably will buy it once it's released. I don't know yet. The first edition is out. It's called the Terra Volatile deck. The first edition has gone out, and then the second edition is still being done. The publisher or the creator said that it was going to be done at the end of May, but at this point in time, I think there are some delays, so probably June it'll be out. It is not a cheap deck. It is done in Europe, and it has an extra whole suit, and it has many alternative cards for you to customize the deck. I also see some possibly problematic things in the deck. I'm not sure. It really depends on how you take it. There are things that I feel like it's not 100% problematic, so we are not sure. And I feel like those kind of feelings are something I can confront with the deck. So it's not like I'm gonna cancel the creator for having those images. It's more like I'm gonna get it and then ask myself, why do I feel this way towards the deck? Is it me or is it really the deck? And I feel like the other images are really so striking enough for me to get it. So even though I am on a deck diet, I feel like I probably will get this deck. What I don't really enjoy about the deck possibly is that there are so many extra cards. I don't like extra cards because there's the question about storage. Like, where do I put these extra cards? And questions like that, or which card should I use, because they're both so attractive and then create some problems for me. The problems of decision. Even though I'm glad they gave me this choice, sometimes too many choices makes life hard, right? Another thing I want to talk about is also the Terror of the Abyss that I was excited about. Anna Turian drew this deck, and it's a black and white deck. It's also out, a mass market deck. I haven't bought it yet. I haven't seen any walkthroughs, but at this point, I'm so decked out that I'm not getting it. It's just gonna go on my wish list, but I'm letting you guys know just in case you didn't know it's out. That being said, let's talk about the decks that I really am enjoying right now in the month of May. And the first one is the Prisma Visions Tarot. I've been using the Prisma Visions Tarot for my client readings as well and for my own readings, and it has so many extra cards just because I bought the Kickstarter version where all the previous unique cards for each edition was released in foil. I've added all of this into this deck. That special edition, that special pack, the cards are slightly taller than the rest, but I don't feel like it affects how I pick the cards out, so that's not so bad. And so I've eaten my words a bit. I enjoy those extra cards in this deck, and very occasionally do they appear, even though I added 5 or 6 of them. I don't even know how many there are. And I'm also glad that I didn't get this too early in my tarot journey. This deck really caught my eye long time ago. James R. Eads is an amazing creator, but I didn't enjoy how glossy it was. I saw it in person, I've seen walkthroughs of it, and I didn't want to get such a glossy version. And that's why I was glad when he came out with his rose petal version. And then that's when I realized I hated rose petal finishes. So I didn't get that version as well. And I waited, and then when the Cosma Visions came out, and that was it, and we could actually get this deck, I bought it without thinking too much, knowing that it is at least a matte version. And I'm enjoying it so much. I'm actually enjoying it more than the Cosma Visions itself. I barely used this deck just because Oracle cards and Oracle decks are still require some study from me. I have read the book, but it's not an easy leap or easy grasping of the images and the art and the understanding. And I still enjoy the art. I just don't know if I connected as much with the Cosma Visions. But the Prisma Visions is an instant connection, and I really enjoy it. And the other two decks I really enjoy this month are the Blood Moon Tarot. I have done a walkthrough of this, you can watch it, and I really enjoy this deck. I know the borders are polarizing, some people say they're distracting, but I really like them. And to be honest, if a borderless version came out of this, I might get it as well. I haven't decided, but I really am enjoying the art in this deck. I do have to agree that the Kickstarter backers really went through quite a long period before they got this, and there were a lot of delays along the way. But it's finally in, I hope, everyone's hands, especially for the international orders, which usually take a longer time. US creators usually send to the US people first before shipping it out overseas, and that's why I'm glad that my country has a mail forwarder there, and it's been so helpful for me in my tarot buying journey. I really enjoy the Blood Moon Tarot. If you want to know more about my thoughts, you can feel free to watch my semi-review walkthrough on my channel. Something I really enjoy is the Lubanko Tarot. I really enjoy the Lubanko Tarot, and I've been using it the past week for my daily draws. And even though I am having a bit of a disconnect for myself when I do my daily draws now, I don't see the connection sometimes. I'm a bit lost as to what it means. That's why I feel a bit lost in my tarot journey. But I'm really enjoying the Lubanko Tarot. It's a beautiful tarot deck. If you haven't seen the walkthrough, you can watch my walkthrough of it on my channel, done very recently, and how I walk through about how beautiful this deck is. The only small disappointment I have, I think I mentioned it in the review as well, is in the Little White Book, she doesn't cover more deeply about some of the art. Like, why did she draw this card this way? Yeah. But Emily Lubanko is an amazing artist, so you can check her out and check this deck out. This month, I also read 2 books. I don't know if you guys are interested in any of the books I read, but because of the Shadow and Bone series that I watched, I was really intrigued by the Six of Crows duology. I bought both the books on Kindle. I read both the books. They are really good books, very well done YA fantasy. So I would recommend that duology to anyone who's interested in YA fantasy. Yeah, it's so emotional. I would say I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, just read it if you can. I don't want to give any spoilers here. But yeah, it was really well done, really well written. I haven't read something so well written and so riveting in a long time. Then let's talk about June. I hope I make it past June. June, I don't know how to express it. I just feel like it's been tough, and I wish I can make it through more easily. I wish I can find more motivation in all the work I've been doing, including tarot and my spiritual work. Yeah, I just feel a bit lost right now. Something I was beginning to study but I stopped studying are the geomancy coins. Let me know if you want to know how to use these coins, the geomantic visions. Let me know if you want to hear more from me about geomancy. It's something I'm still studying, something I'm still going through, but I would love to talk about it, especially if it helps me understand geomancy better. Because I'm not too familiar with astrology, I think there is also a bit of a cutoff point because they use the astrological houses to do the readings, and for me I prefer the shield chart. So I don't know, is there a right way or a wrong way? If you study geomancy, let me know what you think. And oh, I forgot to say this. If you have any questions for me, I do have a post asking for questions. I'll be doing a get to know me video or a tarot Q&A question answer type video. And yeah, I hope you guys participate. Let me know if you have any questions for me. And I'll say that's about it for this month's recap. I hope you guys all had a great month. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Yep, that's about it. You guys have a great rest of the day. You take care. Bye!